So Jay, how you been? Always nice seeing you.
Hey! Oh my gosh, this so rocks! I just want to say,
You're doing so good. You're doing so good.
I just want to say, everyone will suffer. Hey, MTV Rock! I won the MTV Movie Award.
Coming to the after party tonight. Yeah.
Coming to the after party tonight. Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel. We haven't dove into the music industry in a while. Now, there's a lot that's been going on. Grab your tinfoil hats. Let's get diving.
I just read all 62 pages of the newest Diddy lawsuit, and by far this is the most disturbing thing I've ever read. This is the point where I usually tell you to grab a cocktail, but this time I'm asking you to grab some tissue and definitely your earphones. Ashley Parham is the newest plaintiff to file suit against Diddy, but she also is suing a few others. She's also suing Christina Coram, here she is, Shane Pierce, and 3 John Does and 1 Jane Doe. And for those who don't know, John Doe and Jane Doe is a fictitious name that is used when the person's real name is unknown or being concealed. What we do know about these people is that Christina is an employee of Diddy. She's also known as his right-hand woman. And Shane, unfortunately, is someone that Ashley considered to be a friend. Back in February of 2018, Shane and Ashley met. He actually came to her rescue as she was getting into an altercation with another man at a bar. After the whole ordeal, a bunch of people are standing outside the bar talking, and then Shane decides to FaceTime Diddy, kind of showing everyone, look who my friend is, I'm important. Ashley kind of makes a face and is completely unimpressed and makes a statement on how she believes that Diddy has something to do with Tupac's death. Diddy, who's still on FaceTime, overheard the comment that Ashley made and told her she would pay for saying that. So after this whole ordeal at the bar, Shane and Ashley become friends and they keep in touch. March 2018 rolls around and Shane calls Ashley and asks her to come over to help him take his cancer medication. He said he was too weak to open the bottles. Little did Ashley know this is actually a setup and potentially about to be one of the worst days of her life. After she arrives, they make small talk. He tells her how he just got this new car and he wants to give her a spin. Now we know hindsight is 20/20, but this is a sign. How you too weak to open medicine, but you well enough to drive? Nonetheless, they head for a little spin in his car and head back onto the house. Once back inside his apartment, she notices that he leaves the door slightly open, so she mentions it to him and he says, oh, the door's been tripping. I told maintenance about it. They should be fixing it soon. About 10 minutes later, guess who comes right on in? You guessed it, Diddy. Oh, but he doesn't come alone. He's there with Christina and also his bodyguard. The bodyguard is named as John Doe number 1. Also, Jane Doe is there, another woman who she does not know, but she describes her to be in her 30s with blonde hair. And John Doe number 2 and 3 are there, who's supposedly a friend of Diddy and Shane's and also Diddy's driver. According to the lawsuit, John Doe number 3, the driver never came inside. He stayed in the car. Ashley states that Diddy immediately started to antagonize her about the comments she made about Tupac. He started walking towards her with the knife, held it up to the right side of her face, and said that he should give her a Glasgow smile. If you don't know what that is, it usually is when the victim gets a cut on each side of their mouth all the way to their ears. Then Christina urged Diddy to stop, suggesting that it wouldn't be a good idea. They could just sell her to one of their clients. Then Christina went on to threaten Ashley and said she would ship her off to anywhere in the world and she would never see her family again. Diddy and Shane then proceeded to strip Ashley of all her clothing. They pulled a bottle out of a bag and started pouring that liquid all over her. She was in fear at first, thinking that it was some kind of chemical, but then she soon realized that it was baby oil. Then Diddy instructed Christina to insert what looked like a syringe up Ashley's vag. Then something went wrong. Whatever was a part of their plan with this syringe, Christina wasn't doing it right, so Diddy started inserting it himself. Christina and Jane Doe decide to leave, and so now Ashley is alone with Diddy, Shane, John Doe number 1 and 2. Next, Diddy picks up a television remote that's nearby and starts violently inserting it into Ashley. Ashley is hysterically crying and screaming, and Diddy instructs Shane to flip her over on her stomach because he doesn't want to see or hear none of that. Diddy then instructed Shane to put a pillow over her head to muffle some of the screams, and then Shane proceeded to R-word her anally. After Shane, then Diddy, John Doe number 1, and John Doe number 2 all took turns doing the same. She also stated that before John Doe started, he doused her with more oil and then jumped on her back as if she was a slip and slide, which knocked the wind out of her because he was a large person. She also stated that while John Doe #1 was doing this to her, that Diddy was sitting in a chair in the room masturbating and filming. During this whole ordeal, John Doe's phone falls near the bed. She tries to reach for it but can't grab it, and she says Diddy starts laughing and says he owns her now. She stated that by the time it was over, she could not move and she had no control over her bodily functions. At some point, Christina comes back into the room and starts giving Ashley an IV. I think that this is a good spot to end this video. I don't want it to get too long, and we're not even halfway through the lawsuit. So let me know what you think thus far in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
Did you get fired for making fun of Puppy?
Yeah, by Hot 97. I had to fight a lawsuit. You know what it all came down to? It
came down to gay rappers. That's what it was
gay
all about.
rappers and exposing. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Wendy, and she was on the radio talking all this way back in the day. I've been telling you things for years, but you don't want to hear. So, all right, fine. And I don't understand parents who unleash their kids. Oh, it's just a deeply moving story to me because I know all of the story.
She knows. She knows. And I know she knows. And I know she knows.
Yeah, Wendy has been speaking for years. I was never a fan of Wendy, but my coworkers were. And it was like 11 o'clock, like 3 o'clock, and her show would come on, and I would catch glances of it. But I was in my 20s back then, so I didn't really care for what she had to say. But now that I'm much older, I'm like, whoa. She has been speaking this for decades. And now her sudden disappearance, so to speak. And when I say that, I mean, she's been blacklisted, since speaking all of her truths. What are your thoughts on Wendy Williams?
My name is Tania Wallace. I am a singer-songwriter, and I was at I believe to be one of P. Diddy's freak-offs. 2018, I went to this freak-off. I looked to the right of me, and in the corner, I'm looking like, are those midgets? Because people were it's people over them, like it's people trying to hide what they're doing. They're all huddled up. So I'm like, what is that? But no. They weren't. They were little people. And, I don't want to say too much. They were little people. So use your common sense. Dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies, red lipstick, looking like real sexy, revealing like cute. So I'm like, what the hell?
What were the little people doing?
Getting covered up, trying to cover up what they were doing. Just, I don't know, like being admired, being hid, something. But it's like, what are they doing here? Because this is a grown party.
Are you talking about adults who are little people, or are you talking about minors?
Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't want to say I witnessed any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people that's not supposed to be there.
You're talking about underage people.
It's a shame.
So now that's the term we have to use with censorship, and I understand because of the atrocities that happens to little people, minor people. We're just getting started. Let's keep diving.
Actually used. Did you notice what Kendrick has been trying to tell us all this time? Remember the shipping containers? Videos of containers that were actually used to traffic people. The fact that Kendrick has put so much emphasis on this part in his music videos is very interesting, especially considering that his main criticism towards Drake was the accusation of being a trafficker. Now you want to know something even crazier? This is Diddy's resort called Star Island. A lot of the wild parties and events took place here. Well, guess what? If you look in the distance, you can see the ports. The same ports that people have been protesting against. Yes, those ports. How ironic is it that Diddy chose to have a special resort for his parties right in front of these ports? Kendrick knew a lot more than we realized. Maybe that's what some of his other attacks were hinting at. He may even be involved in the case.
Very hard for her to say it, Ashley. So what she said was that she was flown out from LA to Miami by the Saudi prince. And they ended up eventually on Star Island at one of Diddy's parties. She says, you know, among many other things, I mean, she goes into detail. This, she says, happened in 2018. She says that she walked into the house and there was a cluster of adults around what she described as little people. And they were dressed up as Japanese Barbies. I forgot the name. It's Harak something. You can help me out here. It's a certain type of Barbie. Anyway.
I know the name, but I've forgotten it. But go ahead.
So she explained that that they were just clustered around these little people. And I kept pushing her. And she eventually said, look, they are little people who should not be at an adult party. And I pushed her, and it was apparent what she was saying is they were minors. Now, she didn't see anything specific that was going on with them other than that adults were kind of huddled around them. But she told just a wild story about what was going on at the house, even at 7 in the morning, that this thing apparently raged all night long.
You know, it's amazing. TMZ always gets such great scoops, and this one might be one of your best as well. You got a hold of one of the freak-off tapes. Your producers have seen it. The description is, and I'll quote, it's porn directed by Diddy himself. And a male sex worker really sort of walks through what happened in the experiences that he had. They didn't sound illegal, but they sure seem to comport with a lot of the other stories that have been told.
Yeah, so this was a threesome. What you would ask me about earlier about Tania Wallace, she said there were more than 100 people at that party, including at least 4 celebrities. But this, what you're talking about now, was a threesome, and that's something that the U.S. attorney even referenced. And his lawyer in an earlier documentary we did, he was describing threesomes. He says it was all consensual. So yes, what we're told is that this male sex worker was flown out to various locations over a couple of years, Miami, New York, Los Angeles, and one other. And they would meet in hotel rooms, and Diddy would often watch as he would have sex with this woman who was associated with Diddy. So that seems to be what the feds are looking at right now in terms of alleged sex trafficking, if they are transporting somebody and perhaps paying them to cross state lines. That could end up being part of sex trafficking. We know that this guy got a subpoena and he ended up not testifying before the grand jury, but talking to prosecutors. And we're told that he left that tape with them.
From damning call records to the alleged tapes now in the FBI's hands, Diddy's desperate attempts to regain control are backfiring spectacularly. With witness testimonies mounting and shocking details surfacing daily, it seems inevitable that Diddy's dark secrets will come to light. What do you think lies ahead for Diddy as this case unfolds?
Celebrities don't ain't no party like a Diddy party, so
Yeah, that's what's up.
This shit just got dark. Apparently, A-list celebrities are paying off the victims so they're not named in this lawsuit. Which means some of the super rich people involved in this are probably gonna get away with it. And this is all coming from Diddy's lawyer. This clearly has some level of effect because 120 people have avoided public exposure thanks to the hush money. And once again, if that's the case, there's a whole bunch of people that probably was involved with the situation that we're never gonna hear about. And it's definitely the guys that got a whole bunch of money to make people not talk. And I don't know about y'all, but that's kind of disappointing to me because everybody needs to go down, bruh. There needs to be a complete restructure of how the industry operates. That's not gonna happen if the same people that are doing these things get to go right back to work. And I hope that Diddy can stay alive during this whole process. Because with P. Diddy going down, a whole bunch of the music industry is gonna go down with him. He has to be able to speak first.
Now, this freak-off party is gonna be the one that brings the whole celebrity world down, and I like it. Meet Courtney Burgess. He testified that a friend of Kim Porter gave him 11 flash drives. Now, I'm sure we all know who Kim Porter is, Diddy's children's mother. They dated back in the day, and she allegedly passed away under mysterious circumstances, some phantom pneumonia. He told the grand jury on this flash drives. On these flash drives, there are 8 celebrities who were all being victimized in the the surviving Diddy Kelly freak-off way. 6 males, 2 females. Also on these flash drives is Kim's original 54-page book with the real details of what the hell the Diddy monster been doing. Mr. Burgess also said at least 2 of the celebrities were underage. He also said all 8 celebs were inebriated, under the influence, whatever you want to say. They were not in the right mind, and they were being victimized on this tape while the Diddy monster surviving Diddy Kelly watched. Diddy done, and I got a good idea of who those names are. And I name all the names that were at this infamous party and tell you why it's revealing. And I'll talk about it on episode 3 of my podcast, The Flow Show, on Apple and Spotify. Go check it out. I'm out.
I mean, I said it. I said, what did I say? It's gotta be Trump.
Right.
He's the only one telling the truth.
Right.
And considering on the other side, everybody that was endorsing that candidate is an alleged freak-off attendee.
Right.
I don't see how God was rocking with that.
Do you think that Trump will now release the Epstein?
I think Trump's going to release it. Oh, I can't wait.
We've got breaking news from New York. A lawsuit has accused rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000, allegedly alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser says the alleged assault happened after the teen was driven to an MTV Video Music after party. The federal suit was originally filed in October, listing Combs as a defendant. It's now been refiled to include Carter. None of the allegations have been proven in court. Carter is the first celebrity to be accused of sexual assault in connection to Combs.
But the funny thing is, the lawsuit that's suing Tony Busby, the lawyer that's doing all the Diddy lawsuits, just got sued by a prominent figure. They're trying to make everybody believe it's Kevin Hart. But the funny thing is, the lawsuit that's suing Tony Busby, Spiro is a partner. And Alex Spiro is Jay-Z's personal lawyer.
Oh, so it's probably Jay-Z then that's doing the suing.
Of course they'd use Kevin's name.
Well,
but it ain't Kevin. Why is Alex Spiro popping up everywhere?
What do you think is going on in Hollywood right now? What are you hearing? Because I'm hearing
mass panic. Mass panic.
So because no one's talking publicly.
No, they can't. That's why they came up with the story. Well, you know, there's a party inside the Diddy party. And I went to the first party, but I left early. I never made it to Diddy After Dark. There were public relations teams right after Diddy got arrested running around telling everyone to say that.
Of course.
The question is this. If all you went to was the first party and you didn't know anything about the After Dark, why would you say, I left early? Why wouldn't you just say you left when the party ended?
Exactly.
Because how would you know there was another party if you weren't informed?
Exactly.
If you went to the Diddy party and nothing happened and it was the first party, your speech wouldn't be, oh, well, I only went to the first party. I didn't go to the after party. You wouldn't say that because you wouldn't have known about it. You would say, I don't know what anybody's talking about. I went to Diddy's party. It was a white party. It was dancing. It was wild. But at the end, we all went home.
Right.
That's not what y'all are saying.
Nope.
You're saying, I didn't go to the second party. I only went to the first. The only thing you're proving is that you're hiding being there.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have known about another party.
Exactly.
Famous celebrities involved in the Diddy case.
They don't want to live in America anymore. They said Americans misunderstand a lot of things. Alec Baldwin said it's all to do with things like they don't really care about climate change and stuff. Nothing to do with Diddy going on trial or anything, because I don't think he's connected, is he? Is he? Now, we've already had Ellen move over to the Cotswolds, and she's dyed her hair as well. Oh, that's strange, isn't it? And we know she was a friend of Diddy, but I'm not saying anything like that. She's moved because of Trump, hasn't she? Yeah, she's moved because she doesn't like Donald Trump. That's the reason. So, who's next? Oh, has Leonardo DiCaprio turned up yet? Because he disappeared quite a long time ago. Apparently filming, I did finger quotes again, filming, and he's still missing in action, as far as I know. Who else? Oh, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. I heard that they were considering moving abroad as well. Oh my goodness. Now we know that they are super good friends with P. Diddy. Again, unconnected probably. Yeah, probably unconnected. What are your thoughts, guys?
What do you think? Do you believe that it's unconnected or it is connected? And these A-list celebs are running hide. I wonder what they're really afraid of. What is about to drop? Hold on tight. It's about to get bumpy.
Allegedly, Jay-Z has officially been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in a new lawsuit. And yes, he allegedly did this with P. Diddy. So if you didn't know, P. Diddy and Jay-Z had been good friends for a very long time. All you have to do is search their names together on Google and you can see loads of photographs of the two at parties, photo shoots. I mean, these two were pretty close. And I always think it's really strange, like you're pictured with one of the world's most infamous alleged sex traffickers, pedophiles, and rapists, and it's just not supposed to be weird. But according to this lawsuit, the girl was 13 years old, and on the day that this happened, her friend dropped her off in New York City at the Video Music Awards. She didn't have a ticket and she was trying to get in, and according to the lawsuit, Diddy's driver invited her to a party after the show. Later, the driver allegedly picked her up, drove her to a White House, and allegedly at this party were a number of other celebrities doing this sort of a thing. Apparently, she was then offered a drink that made her feel woozy. She went into a room and lied down. And then afterwards, according to this suit, Jay-Z and P. Diddy entered the room and P. Diddy screamed out, "You're ready to party." And you can read the rest of this here, but allegedly Jay-Z held her down and raped her while P. Diddy and another unnamed female celebrity watched. The details of this entire thing are horrific. But Jay-Z has already gone on the defensive and said that you're idiotic if you believe in this, and that the only people who believe this are conspiracy theorists. Here's a picture of Jay-Z from the night that this event allegedly occurred. Are we really crazy to think that this could be possible? The details of this entire thing are graphic and incredibly disturbing. P. Diddy himself is still hilariously claiming that he's completely innocent, and his legal team has stated multiple times that he never assaulted a single person, he never participated in any sex trafficking, and they literally have stated that he's completely innocent, which is just absolutely ludicrous, and it goes to show when things like this leak to the press and when people start disseminating this information, PR teams and lawyers are always going to immediately deny all this stuff. But, for example, in the case of P. Diddy, we know that he is innocent. We know that he's a demon of a person. And I think this is interesting. Jay-Z is the first official, high-profile person that's been named with P. Diddy. Obviously, this is all alleged at this time, and these accusations were just made. But this could be a domino effect that we're about to see, where more names are going to emerge soon. And we all know that the names are there. We all know that people participated in these alleged events. So 2025, I believe, is going to be a wild ride, and 2024 isn't even over yet.
All right, what names do you think are going to drop next? Which high-profile A-lister, politician, scholar will drop next? Again, we're going to do the Christian church and the Catholic church because they're people, false prophets, wolves in sheep's clothing who are taking advantage of people in the churches, financially, mentally, spiritually, and in many cases, sexually. All right, let's keep diving.
Explosive allegations against legendary rapper and mogul Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. A new civil lawsuit is accusing him of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs, which they both deny. The suit claims the alleged assault happened after the Video Music Awards in 2000, the year Jay-Z was nominated for Big Pimpin'. The mogul, husband of megastar Beyonce, calling the accusation heinous. Now his lawyers also firing back, saying these are false, unfounded allegations. The lawsuit was originally filed in October against Combs, Jay-Z's longtime friend, and an unnamed Celebrity A. But now it has been refiled, naming Celebrity A as Jay-Z.
There is nothing unusual about the timing other than the fact that the client authorized us to amend the lawsuit and name Jay-Z as a defendant.
The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs afterparty she says Combs hosted. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched. Now Jay-Z accusing the woman's attorney of trying to blackmail him in a demand letter, suggesting the attorney had tried to seek a settlement first.
These kinds of demand letters are sent on a daily basis across the United States, and attempting to attack me to take the focus off of the alleged perpetrator won't work, and it won't intimidate us.
Sean Combs remains behind bars awaiting trial on various federal charges, including sex trafficking, which he has pleaded not guilty. Busby has filed a string of civil suits against Combs, which Combs' attorneys have dismissed as shameless publicity stunts.
And Chloe, we don't know the identity of the accuser, which was the crux of a filing today.
That's exactly right, Lester. The accuser is currently listed as Jane Doe in the lawsuit, but just hours ago, Jay-Z's attorney filed a motion demanding that her identity be revealed or have this case completely dismissed. Now, ultimately, this will be the judge's decision, but it's also possible that the accuser, who is now an adult, could come forward and reveal her identity on her own, Lester.
All right, Chloe Malone, thank you.
You are going to jail, Sean Carter. There is no getting out of that. I am telling you that right now. Diddy made the same mistake last year. All he had to do was pay out. And guess what he said? I ain't doing it. That bitch is nah. I'm innocent. Until he got caught on camera. The truth comes out about the Jigga Man. That gets demonetized. Is it just me? Did nobody catch that there was no mention of Diddy? He talked about how heinous everything was. And he talked about how if all of it is true, there should be criminal charges. He talked about this and he talked about that. Of course you want there to be criminal charges so the feds can come in and cover up your crimes like they've been doing for almost 30 years. You freak! What's wrong with him? I told you on Pierce, you will respond. Jay-Z doesn't respond to anybody. Jay-Z doesn't respond to anybody, especially if it's not the truth. Jay-Z doesn't respond to anybody. Guess what, bitch? I made you fucking move, didn't I? I made you move, ho. I made you speak. You're a coward, Sean. I still don't know why everybody wants these girls to be black girls. I don't know why y'all think all of their victims are black and Hispanic. I don't know why. I don't know why they like little white girls. You want to talk about valor? Valor and honor? What's honorable about destroying a bunch of teenage girls' lives and then getting them to sign paper under threat and coercion and pharmaceutical inducement? While you sit there and remind them about all the tapes that you have about the honor and valor, you're a two-bit scumbag. A young man from Brooklyn? Tell me something. How much of that money that you've been dropping in Philadelphia so that you could do whatever you want? All courtesy of the Roots, allowing you to be the Trojan horse to destroy black hip-hop in Philadelphia. The Roots? We gonna see how long I know how to force the law to do what it's supposed to do. There have been thousands of occasions where both Sean's, Thing 1 and Thing 2, should have been taken down decades ago. You really think you getting away with it? I'm gonna tell you something right now, you fucking bitch ass hoe. I already know I done took at least $25 to $30 million out of your pocket. I already knew you were gonna be named. You've been playing footsies all of this time, trying to keep your name from being revealed. As if don't nobody know Alex Spiro is running around cleaning up the government's boy to keep him, just decent enough so they can keep using him to screw over black people. I can't. I will not. People who support Jay-Z, people who support Beyonce, people who are loyal fans, people who paid thousands of dollars to be mysticized by a steel vagina portal on stage. But everyone was dressed in silver as offerings. Yeah, that's what y'all were. Y'all were offerings. Let's just be glad it didn't turn into another Astroworld situation. I knew they was itching for a good public sacrifice, but they gotta be careful. May you forever rot in hell.
So this is the raw and uncut version of Jag that a lot of people don't see unless you dig deep and find those clips of her when she's talking to her chats late at night or when she's venting and trying to get the truth out. She cleans up a lot on the interviews in YouTube, IG, TV, and so forth. But this type of material, the uncut raw, is where she really spilled the beans. What she's saying here about the crimes, the horrible acts committed against these young individuals, she's trying to get justice for them. It's not just Ali Carter that was talking about this. There has been many people, Feldman, and so many more that I can't remember right now. But these trigger warnings, I apologize in advance. I know this could be very, very disheartening and disturbing to some viewers. We need to bring to light all these monsters, not just the hip-hop world, but we see in politicians as well. And we haven't really dove into the churches yet. But this kind of acts happens all across the globe in all aspects and avenues of our society. And the goal of this channel is to bring justice to these victims by bringing their predators to light. That change may come, that they may find some solitude. Not solitude, but peace. Not even peace. How can one find peace from those type of things happening to them? How can they find comfort in anything? Let's keep diving.
That Jay-Z and NFL partnership is over after this Diddy shit. This is probably the first time you heard this, so I'm gonna explain. You remember back in 2019, Jay-Z partnered with the NFL, and they were supposed to help in the NFL's social justice efforts. Now, with these recent allegations, we know the NFL don't want to be hooped in with this. And NFL fans are already calling for the termination of Jay-Z's partnership following the allegations. Now, we already know that Drake is suing UMG, all behind the Not Like Us that Kendrick Lamar put out, which is calling Drake basically a petty. There's already controversy about is Kendrick going to perform Not Like Us, or when he does, he's going to be talking about A minor and petty, all of that. But now Jay-Z has entered that same conversation. If you think the Super Bowl is about to let Jay-Z and Drake and all this just turn it into the pervert bowl, you ain't thinking. All I'm gonna say is I went into this shit deep. Tune into my podcast, The Flow Show No Filter, on Spotify and Apple. This shit better than Netflix. I'm out.
I just know that was a, you know what I'm saying, that was a spiritual. People know it or not, because God don't kill people.
So it looks like this leaked audio that's been going around the internet has finally confirmed all of our first fears about what really happened to Aaliyah, and it is bad, y'all. Sources are saying that there's new evidence that proves that Diddy and Jay-Z used to Aaliyah into freak-offs. That's not even the half of it. Allegedly, they used to pass her around to their friends, and when she tried to leave, they just blackmailed her into continuing. But here's where it gets even darker. Apparently, shortly after she passed away, Aaliyah was already planning to expose everything she knew about Diddy and Jay-Z, and even R. Kelly. But the information she would have spilled was so damaging that they knew they had to stop her by any means, even if it involved an accident that totally could have been avoided. The new details coming out about this story are beyond shocking, y'all, but was Aaliyah really taken out because these men wanted to shut her up? What did she really know about Diddy's freak-offs that was so bad that it could have cost her life? Let's break it down. So by now, most of y'all must have seen that picture that has been going viral online showing Aaliyah, Diddy, Dame Dash, and J-Lo at what appears to be one of Diddy's so-called
I
white
remember
parties.
that night like it was yesterday. Diddy had just picked up Justin, barely 15 years old, promising 48 hours of madness, and I was there, behind the cameras. The atmosphere was tense from the start. Justin, with his innocent and nervous face, was trying to keep up, but I could see in his eyes that he didn't belong there. Diddy had organized a huge party at his place for Justin, but the guests were getting stranger by the minute. They were forcing Justin to drink, and even though he hesitated, he went along with it. But everything changed when Diddy pulled out that bottle. He handed it to Justin, who knelt as people shouted, "Happy birthday." It was supposed to be fun, but it didn't feel that way. The way people looked at him, their morbid excitement, it was like they were waiting for something much darker to happen. Hours later, I saw Justin alone in a corner, his smile gone. He looked exhausted, like he had gone through a nightmare no one his age should experience. I still think about Diddy's words that night. He talked about a special night they could never speak about. No one will ever really know what happened, but I'll never forget the look in his eyes.
Y'all, the streets just dug out some shocking new information about Diddy's adopted daughter, Ava Baroni. And unfortunately, the situation is not looking good for Ava. In 2020, Diddy made a big deal about how he was adopting Ava from off the streets, but she disappeared as soon as she came on the scene, and for a long time, nobody even thought about her. Well, considering the allegations made about Diddy and the things the feds said in their indictment documents against him, fans have every right to worry about Ava and what happened to her. So was Ava another one of Diddy's victims? Let's break this down. It's like Ava Baroni pretty much disappeared from the public eye and nobody realized what was going on. While everyone's focused on his latest scandals, nobody's asking the important question, where did she go? But it looks like the feds might have finally uncovered the truth. Nobody really thought twice about how weird it was for Diddy to randomly adopt a girl. But girl, with what we know now about him, it's enough to make your skin crawl. And we can now see Diddy for what he really is, and let me tell you, it sent alarm bells ringing in our heads.
I'm going to take your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
Nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over for the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Good afternoon, everybody. We made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way.
Diddy's legal battles are only getting worse, and now things have taken a shocking turn.
Y'all, they didn't leak Diddy's court hearing, and that judge sounds terrified. I mean terrified. Like, she's shaky. Like, when she said, like, what they were here for, like, you've been charged with da-da-da-da. Like, she didn't even say that. She just said, you've been charged with, like, numerous of things. Like, she just sounded so scared. And I feel like judges normally tell you what you're being charged for. Like, why are you here? You just said numerous of things. Like, what? This is like federal court, so I believe that they don't like film any of like the federal court things, which with this situation I feel like it needs to be filmed because it's a lot and it's a lot of people that's involved with this case. But I feel like they may have wanted this to happen. Like, I feel like his lawyers or his team or somebody like kind of did this purposely so he can have like a mistrial or whatever. Like, I feel like this is a planned thing. Like, I feel like this is planned. I feel like this footage getting put out, like, I feel like they're trying to get it to work for him in the long run of this all. So we'll see. I'm sure this will get brought up in court about, like, the footage being leaked or whatever. And we'll see if it has anything to do with the rest of it. But, y'all, that's crazy. Like, that judge sounds so scared. Like, y'all need to go watch the video. Y'all need to go watch it.
It's not that the rapper, that's not it. That's a misconception. What it is, it's about control. See, that's what makes it, that's why you see, like, wow, Jamie Foxx, you would say that? Because they're in a bind, because see, Jay-Z's not gay. But once you reach a certain level, you have to give something up. There's something that you're going to give up, because you got to be down with that crew. And how do I know? Because it happened to me. That is why I'm standing here talking right now. I reached a certain level in that station. What I'm saying, what's happened is it was passed down to to everyone in the urban industry. So now you have a rapper who will get turned out by a high-ranking label exec because, well, what you gonna do? I mean, if I want to be a rapper and I walk in and the label exec tells me that this is what I need to do for him because, hey, he put my album on when I really wasn't that talented, but they pushed me because they saw that I was something that they could sell. So when you bring me in a room and there's my favorite rapper right there who's in the same room, so that must mean he must have committed the same act as I did. So at the end of the day, depending on where your level is within yourself, you go do it. And it's easy for those of us to sit back and say we wouldn't do it. But the majority of us will never fulfill our dreams. So we'll never be in a position to say what we would or would not do. You understand what I'm saying? We'll never be in that position. Because before I got there, I would say the same thing until I got there. You understand? So I literally lived the devil taking me to the mountain and saying, you can go to the left, you have all of this. And I was there. It was ritualistically done. 3 straight weekends. They do everything in 3s. 3 weekends in a row. Hey, D-Brad, let's go hang out. And every weekend, he kept beating me in the head. Get rid of this Rap City, man. You can do more than Rap City, D-Brad. You can do more than you need to come with us. We go to the joint, we hanging in VIP. Get me everything I want. Then every time we hung out, it was the same way. Then they bring me to the back room. And in the back room, they have this long table with a white sheet set out. I mean, beautiful thing. Looked like the damn Last Supper. On one end is Derek Jeter. There's Stephon Marbury. I'm trying to talk to the model chicks. He's like, nah, D-Brad, come on, sit right here. We get inside the limo. We're in the car. The man standing across looking at me like I owe him something now. And while he's doing that, he's sitting there with his legs spread open, rubbing his. Now, I'm in a situation where I'm like, no, what am I going to do for me? So for me, I had to turn that away. But what the hell that I caught after that, I've been homeless. I've had my name destroyed. I was ashamed of myself. I went from being a man to nothing because I would not cross over.
I believe KK, but doesn't mention Doe number 1. This is vaginal, not anal. He would be the 3rd person to rape her, and she decided not to name him. When she decided to keep Diddy out of these subsequent police reports because she feared that Diddy could have a grave effect on her life, she didn't mention Doe number. It stood out to me because I thought Doe number 1 was the one who said he was an undercover cop. Let's say this guy who identified himself as an undercover cop, and maybe he was and maybe he wasn't, did take part in the attack. Why didn't she name him to the subsequent policing agencies, the Walnut Creek, and then I'm trying to remember what the last one was. There was a 3rd agency that she reported and decided to withhold Diddy's. Yeah, Orinda. She didn't name to Walnut Creek or Orinda Doe number 1, but he was clearly in her complaint part of the rape.
So she didn't name anybody who was a part of Diddy's entourage. She didn't name KK.
No undercover cop would ever take part in a gang rape, you know?
I don't know if you know too many undercover cops, and they pretty much do anything when they are infiltrating a mob or a mafia. I'm sure you probably heard stories of other undercover cops who engaged in murder.
Okay, I'll give you that. Let's say he did. Ariel?
Yes.
I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that.
Man, that story so far is horrible, and that's only the beginning. So many victims, so many innocent lives lost to selfish, wicked devils with power, money, and control. We're going to keep doing a deep dive in the aftermath of this case. The names that will be dropped, and even following the alleged crimes that Jay-Z and Queen Bee and other A-list people are involved in. As always, it's always a pleasure having you here with me as we do these deep dives, even in these chaotic, creepy, One's here. Stay safe, stay blessed in these dark, deceptive times, and remember, we are high frequency chaos. Peace.